the woods. One day, Bella decided to go hiking with her new friends from her club since she had no class on the weekend. When the sun went down behind the mountain and it was getting dark, Bella split from the group to answer the call of nature. They were walking slowly, so she thought she would not stray far away from them. But Bella was wrong, because when she returned, she could not see anyone there anymore. In a hurry, Bella ran to catch up with them. She ran and ran, but still could not find anyone at all. She took out a compass from her pocket. Noting how strangely its needle was spinning helter-skelter, Bella had no other way but to follow the remaining glimmer of the sun. Along the way, she saw countless uprooted trees. The further she went, the more clearly she smelled a stench. It was the now familiar stench of blood. The terrible smell rose into Bella's nostrils. She walked quickly towards where the bloody smell came from while having a bad feeling. The married couple, Jack and Jolie, went to a grand opening of a project which they had signed 3 years ago. On their way back home, they were driving along a cliffside road, the mountains on one side and a steep cliff on the other. The wind blew so hard that their car was staggering. The leaves, blown by the wind, covered the driver's view. Jack urgently slammed on the brakes. At that moment, trees rose from the abyss below the cliff, as well as fell down from the mountain. Trees were flying from all sides. The car was smashed with pieces of glass piercing into the couple's bodies. "Get out of the car!" shouted Jack. They led each other by their hands to leave the car, then ran down an empty path. The trees were rolling down the slope towards them. In the meantime, the canopies were crashing and smashing with leaves scratching their faces. The big trees rolled over and tumbled on top of Jack, pinned him down. With all the strength he had, Jack pushed the tree away. He did not have a second to take a breath because another big tree was rushing towards him. The tree trunk was big. Its foliage was flourishing. It was strange that the trunk looked like a girl's body. The arm-long branches reached out to grab Jack's neck, lifted him up into the air while the tree roots wrapped around Jack tightly. The more he struggled, the harder they squeezed. Jack's face turned blue. His resistance got weaker and weaker. When Jolie saw her husband in danger, she ran to the tree to punch the trunk very hard. It shook a little. The branch which was holding Jack's neck lifted him up higher, then smashed him against the cliff furiously. Jack could only scream once. His body was crushed to pieces. His blood was spread everywhere. Jack died in great pain. Jolie could not believe what was happening in front of her eyes. She ran to hug Jack in tears. The tree behind her was slowly coming towards her, step by step. 3 years ago, Jack was a vice president of a big company. He and his wife had just signed a successful contract. They celebrated together with a lot of drinking. On the way home, when they were driving down a cliff road, there was a girl waving at them for a ride. Jack mistakenly stepped on the accelerator pedal instead of the car brake, so they hit her by accident. Jack and Jolie quickly got out of the car to check and found the girl lying there lifeless. Her blood gushed out in a big puddle. Jolie was so scared. She told Jack to take the poor girl to the hospital, worrying this would ruin their reputation. In case the girl died, they would end up in prison. So Jack disagreed with his wife's solution. He discussed with Jolie about how to cover this up. They carried the dead body into the woods, dug a hole next to a tree stump, and buried it. The blood stench led Bella to the place where Jolie was held up high, struggling with the branches that were trying to throttle her. Bella remembered the tree demon was actually mentioned in the magic book which she took from the shaman. Fortunately, at that time, the enchanted rope, which Bella had put an incantation on following the spellbook's instructions, was with her. She brought it in case she encountered some wild or dangerous animals. Bella held the rope by her hand, running towards the giant tree, then tied the rope around its trunk. The tree shook, wriggling while dropping Jolie down to the ground. The tree roared in anger while its branches attempted to grab Bella. In the meantime, Bella quickly took her whip out and fiercely lashed the tree. She continued her fighting while moving closer towards the trunk until the tree tore up, bleeding. A girl's soul flew out and disappeared in the air. The vital green tree suddenly dried out lifeless and fell down in rotten pieces next to Bella, where she found the 5th piece of the artifact. In her journey of conquering demons, Bella never noticed there were vengeful, burning eyes watching her every move.
Subscribe now to My Novels to enjoy a journey of the best mystical, magical, and mysterious stories.